Hi, this is Ava from Soul GPS. Welcome. I wanted to talk in this video about becoming a narcissistic repellent. I get asked this question all the time by my clients, and finally I feel like I've devised a formula that I've been able to successfully apply into my own life, and I wanted to share this with you. So what is the thing, what is the quality about us that makes us a narcissistic attractor? That is, I would say, lack of confidence, which stems from lack of boundaries, which stems from specifically the boundary that allows us to say no to the things that we know are not good for us, but which often may make us feel like we should do them because it's the right thing to do for the other. So we put other people first. Now I want to clarify something real quick about the whole concept of attraction before I tell you the steps to get to that internal sense of confidence that is going to help you to push away or communicate to the world that you're not going to deal with people who are abusive and who are there to take advantage of you. And the viewpoint is basically that, you know, we live in this world where the law of attraction has sort of seeped into our thinking to the point when it's really deep. I have a problem with that, and the reason why I have a problem with that is because I think it's true, but only about halfway. Yes, we do create our reality, but also other people who are around us create their reality. So there's the inner world over which we have quite a bit of control. I wouldn't say total control, but a lot of control. That's where the leverage is at. That's where we can do things, change things, shift things in us so that we can have a different, better, more enhanced life experience. And then there is the outside world over which we have very little control, right? So we need to remember that we have to reconcile the two. And the fact that you have narcissists showing up in your life doesn't necessarily have to mean that there's something in you, some mysterious mechanism that is operating and drawing these people towards you. Yes, we need to face reality, and that is that we're living in times when narcissism is very popular. It is part of our culture. We live in the so-called me generation, although some people would say that the me generation was in the 60s, and now it's like 3 times worse than it used to be. You know, add to it social media, add to it the leadership that we have around the world that is, you know, sort of propagating that mentality. I mean, you can go many different avenues. The fact remains that narcissism is on the rise, and that you're going to be affected by it, whether you want it or not. You're going to meet the narcissist in your life at some point. Likely you'll meet a lot of them. You probably will also meet a psychopath or a sociopath. Again, these people are around us, as are wonderful people, good-natured people, sweet people, innocent people, people who are here to make the world a better place. You'll meet them too. So my point is that throughout their life, we're going to meet a whole variety of people. So it's not about attracting bad people into your life, which we tend to pay more attention to because of the damage that they leave. But it's about knowing how to sniff them out or recognize them, and how to put the right boundaries in place so that they don't get inside your life. You don't let them in, so then they do all of that horrible damage and they leave, and then you're left reeling from the experience and have to pick up the pieces. So we want to prevent that. If you've had that experience, I like to call it an initiation, which means that you're basically being bit by a vampire, and now you can create antibodies for it and become much more mindful when it comes to your social life. That's going to actually help you live a more positive existence and more conscious existence. So how do you get to this confidence, to this inner confidence? Step number 1, there are 3. Step number 1 is, actually the third is arriving at the confidence. So there are 2 before confidence. Step number 1 is knowledge and information. You want to arm yourself with information about how these people operate, how do they behave, what you can expect out of them. Understand the sneaky behaviors, understand the tactics, the manipulative tactics that they use in order to make you believe like it's your fault and they're just victims of their circumstance, to evoke your empathy so that you can then spend a lot of time and resources on these people and with these people. It's something you don't want to do. So that's number one. You need to learn. Number two is set boundaries. Now, what are boundaries? You can write books about boundaries. It's a massive topic. Why? Because everyone's boundaries are going to be different. They're going to be different for you and me. They're going to be different depending on who you're interacting with. They're going to also be different depending on when you're interacting with them, meaning that at some point your boundaries might be very strong, almost resembling a wall, but eventually they may soften and become more permeable and agile because you start to feel more comfortable with this person through trusting yourself and trusting them more. It's a process. The reverse may be the case, meaning that you may feel very close with somebody only to realize that they're not to be trusted. So you push them away in your orbit. You push them far out where Pluto's at, rather than keeping them close to you. So it's a process. It changes daily. It changes moment to moment depending on who you're with. But what I want to emphasize about these boundaries is that it creates an inner sense of safety, which then will allow your brain to communicate it to your body that, okay, we're safe. We can now begin to process suppressed emotions. So a lot of people who are used to saying yes all their life because they feel they're either guilted into it or shamed to it, or they feel like that's just the way that you should be. They were raised that way, they were trained that way, without having the ability to say no when they feel like it. What will happen is they're typically people who have repressed a lot of emotions. Where do the emotions go? These sensations, these feelings, this kind of like you can feel it in your stomach churning. They get repressed inside of our bodies. What can result is psychosomatic illnesses, where you start to feel aches and pains. Who's been there? I've been there. Aches and pains, you feel fatigue. It's like you're fighting a war with yourself because part of you wants to say no, and another part of you is like, no, but you should say yes. It's the right thing to do. Mom told you, dad told you and taught you to do this, always to do this, always to trust people. No. So you're going to have to sort all of that out, and that is a process that can take a while. But what will result from this is, as you're starting to process these emotions, eventually, inevitably, you're going to stumble across very powerful emotion, very fiery emotion, the emotion that I'm always so excited about when my clients tell me that they feel it, and that is anger. Now, anger is tricky because it is incredibly nourishing for a person who all their life has been bullied by others and been told to say yes to everything. But it is also very destructive, and that's also kind of a positive quality, I think, of anger, because it's like fire. It can raise, So what I like about this is that once you get in touch with your anger, it's like the strongest emotional boundary you can feel that's out there. It literally has that quality, that somatic quality of like, no, right? It's like everything in you is just pushing out. You create this strong repelling force around you, which helps you repel narcissists. But here's the trick with it. When you first start playing with fire, you may burn yourself, right? And you may burn others. So you need to become very mindful about how you handle it. So the best way to handle anger, in my view, is first of all, to find somebody to talk to about this, somebody who's highly knowledgeable, like a good therapist, a good coach, maybe a friend, somebody who you trust. If that's difficult to obtain, write in your journal, get all of your anger out, write letters to people you're angry towards. Don't send them, just do it for yourself. And then also externalize the angry energy by exercising, taking brisk walks, screaming into your pillow if you have to. Take up martial arts or dance. Any kind of somatic practice is going to help to push that energy off yourselves. One of my favorite ones that works really fast is just shaking. So you put in a 5-minute song and you just let your body shake, 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 and you just literally will feel like you are floating off the ground after about 5 minutes of that. So you want to process that. But here's the cool thing about being in touch with your anger. It's almost as if people know the people who are in touch with their anger, because they radiate this kind of an awareness that they can damage people, that they can damage others, that they can hurt too, that they can be dangerous. That is a good thing, because it basically communicates to others, don't screw with me, don't mess with me, because you're going to regret it. So this is a difficult thing to get in touch with. It's basically your shadow self. And a lot of people who are dysfunctional, who are disturbed, who are, who have these kinds of personality disorders. They don't know how to handle their shadow. It sort of takes over them. What you want to do is you want to be in touch with it, but you want to be able to command it. You want to be able to control it. So basically, you walk around with the awareness of your own ability as a human being to cause damage if needed, but you don't act on it. That also is true morality. Not morality that comes from fear, like, I'm not going to do this because I'm afraid, but I can do this, but I'm not going to do it because it's not the right thing to do. You see the difference? So when you learn that, that's going to build incredible amount of confidence in you. You'll be able to walk through life not afraid about meeting narcissists, because you'll meet them, because you'll know how to handle it. So that's my point. Don't worry about being a narcissist attractor. Again, they're everywhere. Worry about, or focus on rather, what you do when one shows up on your path. How do you handle it? Will you have the strength to say, I'm not interested, and walk the other direction, or look very boring? That can be a good strategy. You just act very boring because they're looking for the shiny, right? The shiny object that is resourceful, that is beautiful, that has a glow, and that says yes to everything, right? That's the kind of people they're always looking out for. But they're casting a wide net. So it's not like they're going to like zoom in on you from a crowd, but they're going to they're gonna target you, they're gonna target this person, they're gonna target like 10 people at the same time at the same party, and just wait to see who takes the bait. So again, don't blame yourself for having had these people walk into your life. It's just that you haven't had the right tools to handle it. Now you know what to do. Now what I would like to encourage you to do is learn about it, study it. It's a dark subject, so I won't blame you if you want to take breaks, and I won't blame you if you take it a little bite at a time. But be aware, observe people, see how they are, listen to them. Try not to project your own, empathy and your own open-heartedness and goodness onto others, believing that, oh, nobody would do such horrible things. No, people do really, 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 really horrible things. I mean, all you gotta do is turn on the TV, you'll see how horrible it is out there, right? So, but you need to know that you can do it too. It's just you're not gonna do it, right? You're not gonna do it because why? We don't want to keep adding to the problems. We want to be people who are solution-driven. But in order to fight the monsters, we have to be in touch with our own monster. So that's my message for you today. I hope it was helpful. Let me know in the comments below, and share this video with anyone who you think may benefit. And I look forward to catching up with you again. Lots of love from England. Bye.